Shortland Street has fallen to number 6 in the rankings for April 2022. A big fall from second place last month. It started this year off well. It was number 1 in my rankings in January. The only time a soap other than Coronation Street was at number 1, it was Shortland Street. But it had to fall to number 6. And honestly, it is for similar issues like Hollyoaks has. There is just a clear lack of direction and focus, and they have a lot going on, and none of it's really that great. You know, similar to Hollyoaks has a lot going on, but none of the storylines are really hidden. There's just a lot going on, and that's it. We'll start with the positive, though. The positive was that the Hamish storyline finally came to an end like it needed to. I said in March that story needed to end because they were really hurting Jack's character. And we even had a comment on a Shortland Street video for the first time. Thank you, Shortland Street viewers, for commenting. Keep it up. That they always tend to ruin Jack's character when it comes to his love interest and Jack looking dumb. Yeah, Jack looked really dumb in this story, in my opinion. But I'm glad it finally came to an end. It had a pretty good climax too. Esther was the one that had to get through to Jack to show him the proof. There was a point where Jack had the gun and was going to possibly shoot Hamish, but of course couldn't. And Hamish is instead arrested and brought to justice. And we didn't really get a whole lot of follow-up from Jack after this story. And I feel like they really need to take the time to build his character back up, because he came out of that story looking bad. And that's another issue I'm starting to have with Shortland Street, is they are starting to have a trend of making their characters look either really stupid or really bad. We kind of had that a bit with Dawn here. She was arrested for robbery. It was a really stupid build and a really weird story so far. Like, there's possibly a Dawn lookalike. I don't really know where that's going. So we'll talk about some of the other stories here. We have like Lewis really falling for girl Eden here for a while. It was nothing to write home about. We had Viliami's friend Moses. Moses was upset because of his medical issues, kind of blamed Viliami, like Viliami was lying. So we had Moses really upset with Viliami. But a lot of these storylines, per usual on Shortland Street, they kind of like start out of nowhere and finish pretty quickly. They're not really long-term storylines. Some are, some aren't, but most this month seem to come and go, because we even have Marty's story with his friend dying in the hospital. He turned out to be poisoned. His wife or girlfriend, I don't even remember at this point, was suspected of being the one doing it, but it was some other girl that was obsessed with him. It was very convoluted and uninteresting from the start with that one, and that was really just the trend for the month on Shortland Street and why I had to drop it down so much. Also, Desi and Damo continued to still be annoying in the first half of the month when they were on. They're such an immature couple, even though they're old. And once again, I'll say, just like last time, I get that they're supposed to be like comedy relief, but it's just stupid. It doesn't make for good viewing. Now, we may have seen a mixed bag with the Madonna side of the storylines. A couple months ago, she didn't get a job because of Nicole not wanting to take a pay cut so they could kind of like be co-heads of nursing. But when she found that out, of course, Nicole was confronted about it, and Nicole started to have second thoughts, and she hasn't been enjoying her job lately at Shortland Street anyway, and so she wanted to step down and Madonna could come aboard. At first, Chris was uncertain if he was just going to give it to Madonna. He also wanted to consider Mauve, but in the end, Madonna was given a chance to get this job, which I think she deserves at this point. But since she's had this job, we're getting some mixed bag of Madonna storylines. We had her getting into it with Esther during one of the surgeries, even though Esther was in the wrong during that one. But more so, the kids on the show are wanting to protest at the school that they want gender neutral bathrooms at the school, and Madonna gets into it with Wilder and her daughter about this, and how she starts talking about how, you know, both trans people and lesbians, and how lesbians don't have similar values of her, you know, her being a devout religious person that she is, even though she's being a hypocrite in this situation. And so, of course, Wilder takes offense to that because he was raised by lesbians, and he tells his mother, Mav, about this, and she kind of lays into Madonna. But then Wilder, of course, goes too far, because that's what we're getting from this Wilder character at this point. He edits the video and kind of manipulates it to make it look like Madonna is even more of a bigot than she was in that conversation. That gets Madonna in a little bit of trouble until Mav, of course, lays into Wilder for manipulating the video. So that's what happened on the past week of Shortland Street. That was probably the best story of the week, in my opinion. But to me, that was still a mixed bag, because I don't really know what message they were trying to send with that story. But I think they told it fair. I mean, it was an even story for Madonna and Maeve and Wilder and Joy. But yeah, I mean, altogether, Shortland Street is it's kind of being a bad combination of too much is going on. They're doing way too much, and most of it's coming across as bad or even borderline boring. So I had to drop Shortland Street this month, and I felt like it needed to be close to Hollyoaks because I feel like they have similar issues right now. It's just, you know, throw things at a wall, see what storylines stick. On Shortland Street, stories don't stick for long. It's very plot driven at whiplash speed. But also, I'm pretty sure May is their 30th anniversary. I read that. And so I don't know what they plan on doing. They certainly don't have anything big set up to happen over the next 3.5 weeks to get them to the 30th anniversary. That's a big anniversary for a soap opera. But with this show, I'm sure they'll conjure something up very quickly, plot-driven wise. But yeah, right now, not a lot of the stories are working. Even if there's a lot of them, they are kind of failing right now.